Our top focus on World DNA this morning. After attending the historic G20 summit in India, Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Salman is staying back in India for a state visit. My colleague Shivan breaks it down for you further.
Thanks, Resha. Saudi and India ties have always, brought in a lot of intrigue, and of course we're going to talk about that further. Now, Crown Prince Mohammed Bin Salman is on his second state visit to India. This visit follows the highly successful 2019 visit of Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi to Saudi Arabia, during which the two countries established the Strategic Partnership Council. Now, there are a lot of details between the two countries. I'm going to break it down for you. Here's all you need to know about the India-Saudi ties and the rapidly evolving global geopolitical dynamics. Now, in New Delhi, the Crown Prince and Prime Minister of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia will call on Indian President Draupadi Murmu. He will hold a bilateral meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Both leaders will also co-chair the first leaders meeting of the Strategic Partnership Council. Now, India and Saudi Arabia have historically close and friendly relations with extensive people-to-people contacts as well. Now, the trade between both the countries reached an all-time high of $52.75 billion in financial year 2022-2023. Both countries have a strong partnership in the area of energy. There is a vibrant Indian community of nearly 2.4 million people in Saudi Arabia. The United States, Saudi Arabia, the European Union, the United Arab Emirates and others, they launched a major trade plan on the sidelines of the Group of 20 summit in New Delhi. Now, that was definitely one announcement which was not expected so soon, but it was definitely one that was welcomed by several nations, barring China. Now, it marks an ambitious attempt to create a modern-day spice route linking Europe, the West Asia and India, boosting trade ties with potentially wide-ranging geopolitical implications. Now, there were a lot of questions regarding how this corridor, this economic corridor, will impact China's BRI. But of course, that's another discussion altogether. The economic corridor is an initiative to link railways, ports, electricity and data networks and hydrogen pipelines as well. Now, one proposed project would link railway and port facilities across West Asia, including the United Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Israel. Now here, Israel and Saudi Arabia, we're taking their names in the same sentence, potentially speeding trade between India and Europe by up to 40%. That's how this corridor is going to really boost things and trade, of course. A shipping container that today travels from Mumbai through the Suez Canal to Europe could be in future. It could go by rail from Dubai to Haifa in Israel and on to Europe from there, saving both money and time. Now, you see, Biden's administration is actively prodding Riyadh, a major oil producer and security partner, to normalize ties with Israel. After decades of conflict between the two nations and closed borders, Saudi Arabia has never officially even recognized Israel. But US needs these two on the same page if it wants to counter China and, of course, boost its own trade as well. Now, all the projects could also help oil-soaked West Asian states wean their economies off dependence on fossil fuels. Importantly, the plan could be a significant response to China's so-called Belt and Road Initiative, the One Belt, One Road Initiative. Several names that are given to it, but this is one way to counter it. Now, the project spread Chinese influence, investments and commerce across Europe, Africa, Asia and Latin America. Saudi Arabia is betting big on India's potential now. India boasts of a vast market of 1.4 billion people. During his visit to India, MBS, in February 2019, Saudi Crown Prince had announced that the kingdom would be investing $100 billion in India. It was a very successful visit for the Indian Prime Minister as well. Now, 9 sectors are in focus here. I'm going to list them out for you. Energy, refining, petrochemicals, infrastructure, agriculture, minerals and mining, manufacturing and education, and health. Now, these are 9 sectors where there is going to be a lot of investment. New Delhi signed an MOU, a Memorandum of Understanding, with the Saudi Ministry of Energy, Industry and Mineral Resources in 2019 to invest in India's National Investment and Infrastructure Fund Limited. Now, subsequent to the framework agreement signed between Invest India and Saudi Arabia General Investment Authority in 2019, the Invest India team has visited the kingdom multiple times. Meanwhile, oil prices gained almost 1% to a 9-month high on Friday on rising US diesel futures and worries about tight oil supplies. Remember, Saudi Arabia and Russia, this is a name that definitely irks the US. Saudi Arabia and Russia recently extended supply cuts, something that US was not at all happy about, and it happened sometime around the midterm elections of the US. Biden was not smiling at that news. Saudi Arabia is also witnessing foreign policy transitions. You see, Riyadh and Tehran cut ties in 2016. China then brokered a deal recently between longtime adversaries in March this year, and it got Iran and Saudi Arabia on the same page. China was hoping to get some benefits from Saudi Arabia thereafter, but definitely this recent announcement of the economic corridor would have Chinese heads scratching their heads. You know, what exactly is happening? What is Saudi Arabia up to? But of course, Saudi Arabia, the kingdom, has made its decision. Last but not the least, Riyadh is going all out to move away from oil profits. The Vision 2030 plan includes Aramco shares sale, focus on sovereign wealth fund, a new visa system and economic diversification. The country is also eyeing enhanced participation of women in the workforce. Oil has made Saudi Arabia a major economic force, but it comes at a cost. You see, the short-term problem is the volatile price of crude oil. Oil will not lose its dominance of the market for transport fuel in the next few years, but further ahead the outlook is unknown, and therefore Saudi Arabia needs to become less dependent on oil for government revenue and for the jobs and incomes of Saudi nationals. So there is a lot that is expected from this state visit. Of course, MBS will be interacting with the Indian Prime Minister, the Indian leadership, and a lot more is expected to come out from this, and we will keep you up to date on WION World is One right here.